Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Roundup program. And we're going to have a lot of good information today and some historical features as well. And my first guest today, and we're expecting others, is Debby Canter. And she is with the Dolly Imaginary Library. And a lot of you people in Oak Hill will know her. She was the principal Oak Hill Elementary, a long-term teacher. Now she's still helping children today. I want you to tell us about how all this unfolded, how you got involved with the program, and what you do with the Dolly Imaginary Library.
Sure, Red. I'd be happy to. So 3 years ago, I received a call and asked if I would like to come and work for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library of Ohio, which at the time was the Ohio Governor's Imagination Library, and since the name has been changed, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a while. So I, of course, jumped at the chance because the Imagination Library is such a wonderful program. It's a free book gifting program that's available to every child in Ohio from ages birth to 5. And it's, as I said, it's free to families. There is a cost involved, but luckily Easter Seals of Central and Southern Ohio are very generous, and they pay the partial cost for the books. The welcome book is called The Little Engine That Could, and the reason this is the welcome book is because this is Dolly Parton's favorite children's book. So this is the welcome book that every child gets, whether they are enrolled at birth or whether they're enrolled at 4 years old. As a child grows, gets older, they're board books for little ones, and this one's called Sassy. They're very durable because, as we know, children like to put books in their mouth, and they get thrown and tossed around. And of course, we have Dolly Parton's book, I Am a Rainbow. That's one of the books. And this is one of the most favorite series, Llama Llama. This one's Red Pajama. There are several in the series. And as the children get older, this is a favorite. It's a paperback book, Baking Day at Grandma's. Mm-hmm. And then when a child turns 5, this is the tough one. It's a cute book, but the kids do not like that because it's their last one. But it's Look Out Kindergarten, Here I Come, the month they turn 5. And it's a little tough sometimes if they have siblings in the home that are still getting books. They get a little jealous of their younger siblings that they're still receiving the books.
And you know, Dolly has a remarkable life. She grew up in East Tennessee, and she came from a very rural background. And she started a band as a teenager. I have a friend here in town that saw her when she was 19, before the stardom came. Susan Rogers down at she's from Clinton, Tennessee, and a lot of people, she's been involved in several social work type programs around the area, and she knows, she has a great history of country music, and it's always saw Dolly throughout her career. And there was a special reason that Dolly had for starting this program, and come on over, Mr. Allman. It's just, and Dolly's dad tell us about Dolly's dad and why
Okay,
Dolly
sure.
couldn't started this.
So Dolly's father was unable to read, but nevertheless, he was a very intelligent man. So around 1988, Dolly, this was her inspiration for starting the Dollywood Foundation was due to her father. And she started that in 1988, which, of course, years later led into the Imagination Library. The Imagination Library was born out of a need to help children in her home county of Sevier County. And that, I believe that program was in Tennessee, went statewide in 1995. So next year will be the 30th anniversary celebration for that. And when Mrs. DeWine heard all about this, when her grandchildren were receiving these books, they wanted her to read to them. And Ohio became the fourth state to join Tennessee in 2019, beginning of 2020. She did visit here in Jackson in February of 2020 to launch the program. And if you recall what happened the following month in March, things were kind of slowed down for a while for the Imagination Library here in Ohio.
That and about everything else.
Yes.
I've covered Mrs. DeWine in Benton County at the library and at the Head Start Center up there. And Mrs. DeWine has a wonderful way with children. The DeWines are they're a political family, but they also put family first. And Ohio Governor Mike DeWine's been very involved with Dolly. And Dolly's been to the State House. And what do you, as a principal and a teacher, how important is it to a program like this to have a governor that involved?
Oh, it just speaks volumes. The governor and Mrs. DeWine are just champions of early literacy. As you may or may not know, a child's brain is 80% developed by the time they're 3 years old. And many people, we're told, reading to a child is the most important thing you can do for them, from birth, before they get into school. And a lot of people think that's just too simplistic, of an answer to, to success in reading. But you can, look at it or check out a child's vocabulary by the time they're 3, and that's a very good indicator of how they're going to perform on the third grade reading test.
Now, does the child's parents, is there a website they sign up for the books? Do they do it through the schools, or how?
Yes, they can go to ohioimaginationlibrary.org and sign up. We have, if you would like any literature, you can get a hold of Red, and he will get a hold of me, and I can get you some pamphlets if you would like to share those. We have QR codes. We're in a technology oriented society now, so it's just pretty easy. You can click on that QR code, and it will take you straight to the website. Many of our birthing hospitals in the state have iPads that they allow the parents to use, and they can sign their child up right before they ever leave the hospital, and others just provide the information.
Well, that's amazing. During your career as a principal, and I saw you how did you, especially when you was a principal, did you work with your intervention specialists to identify kids that couldn't read? Is that?
Yes, and again, what we found is many times the children who were not read to or did not have the opportunities to visit the local libraries were the ones that struggled the most. We've just talked about how important it is to be read to at an early age, even when you think an infant can't understand. And that's part of this program. It's not just about teaching children to read. It's instilling a lifelong love of reading in that child, so they will be successful in everything they do.
We're going to take a look at Dolly's legacy, and while we're doing that, we're bringing in our next guest that he's going to be joining us. But Dolly is like, we're going to talk more about Dolly Parton later, but I want to show this. What would you think if you was 19 Now, this is before the internet, before network they had network TV, but they didn't have all the cable, all the satellite, all the websites. You was 19, you were a singer, you was basically undiscovered, and one of the biggest stars in America took you in.
That would be one of those I'd have to pinch myself to make sure it was real moments in my life. That would have to have been just an unbelievable experience.
Dolly was 19 when she went to Nashville, and she was taken in by Porter Wagner, who had a national television show, and had been established for 7 years already, and she took over for an established star, Norma Jean, and also Dolly had a lot of pressure on her as a young lady to keep the show going, and she hadn't even had a hit yet. So it was really, and there was, all the guests, a couple of the guests have arrived late. We're going to meet them in just a moment. And Chip, come over here, and we'll set this up. And hello, and want to introduce one of our guests, Chip Allman. He's a local musician. And before we show this clip, Chip, Dolly sang with a lot of guys over the years, and you're going to do something to pay tribute to that. One of them was Kenny Rogers.
Yep.
And you're going to play us something on that later. But Chip, Dolly, talk a little bit about Dolly's legacy before we show her national debut. What an impact she's been on the industry.
There's probably not a bigger other maybe than Reba. But Reba and Dolly is basically country music. One of the and Loretta Lynn and in the past the ladies came on pretty strong, and Dolly pretty much led the way. She's probably the mother of country music to me, and yeah.
Well, let's go back and have some fun now, and let's see Dolly's introduction to the nation in 1967. I found this and I thought it would really set a theme to today's show. So here is Dolly at 21 years old when she was introduced to America.
Right now I want you to meet the little lady on our show. You know, Miss Norma Jean, that's been with us for many, many years, had to leave our show because we work so much on the road and do so many TV shows to kind of have a little time at home for our personal life. And I looked at a long time and thought of many, many folks that we all liked and thought that you would like. And here's a little gal that I know you're going to really learn to love because she's a fine singer and one of the finest little gals that I've ever met. Let's give her a great big welcome as she sings a song that she had a big hit on called Dumb Blonde. She ain't no dumb blonde, though. Pretty Miss Dolly Parton. How about it? Fine, Dolly. Come on over a minute. That is mighty, mighty nice. Thank you a lot. And welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
We're going to really enjoy working with you, and you wrote so many fine songs and sang so pretty, so we'll look forward to having you around a long, long time.
Well, I hope to be, and thank you very much.
We're mighty glad to have you. Miss Dolly Parton, and she records for the Monument Recording Company.
But you never asked me if I'd like to come along.
The time is all gone, and there's something fishy going on if we don't get off. So we'll see you next week. And sorry we run out of time. If you enjoyed yourself, invite us back next week, same time. So long, everybody.
This has been the Porter Wagner Show in color. A half hour of good country music and fun brought to you from the home of the grand.
And that was a clip that I found on YouTube. And that was the first time America saw Dolly Parton in a big way, and what she's become since then is phenomenal. And Debbie's still with that today, with the books. And how does that name resonate? Is Dolly, when you go out and visit all the schools, do they ask you questions about Dolly or?
Well, the first question I always get is, have you met Dolly Parton? And the answer is, unfortunately, no. She did visit us in August of 2022. Mrs. DeWine had a First Ladies Luncheon, and Dolly was able to attend in Columbus at the Union. Mm-hmm. And it was so funny because a lot of people knew she was coming, and they were camped out in the hallways. They wanted to get a glimpse of Dolly. They wanted to meet her. And I saw a group of young people out with their T-shirts on with Dolly's face on it. And I said, don't worry, I'll be inside. I'll get pictures. We exchanged phone numbers. I'll send you pictures because I knew they weren't going to bring her through the main hallway. Mm-hmm. After the event was over, my phone buzzed, and it was the one of the young men that I had exchanged numbers with. He had gotten closer to Dolly Parton than I had. They waited outside, and as her car was driving by, she made the driver stop. She rolled down her window, and she spoke to these young people. So with all of her fame and fortune, she is still just a down-home good person in my opinion, even though I haven't met her. But she was able to have a conversation with Mrs. DeWine, and she was funny and warm, and we got to hear 9 to 5 and I Will Always Love You. She sang both of those for us, so that was a really special moment for me.
And we're going to turn our attention to Chip. Dolly sang with a lot of guys, and she just had an incredible, and one of them was Kenny Rogers.
It was, and she made the comment that she was really going to miss him, and he was one of her best friends at his funeral. She actually sang at his funeral.
And now we'd like you to grab your guitar over there and a little tribute to that Kenny and Dolly era. Kenny helped so many women, Dottie West also, but Kenny and Dolly certainly had a big thing going in the 80s with music, and you're going to play a Kenny Rogers song in tribute to that.
I am. I'm going to try. I'm out of tune. I grabbed my guitar by the strings when I got it out of my car. Still out. Excuse me.
It's okay. It's part of the process,
there we
right?
go. Son to the rescue.
There we go. Tuning up's part of the game here.
I'm on the wrong one. Gotta start down there.
In a big rush today, yeah.
Sorry. I'll tell you guys a funny story. I have a great pair of knees. And this morning, I'm out feeding my animals, and I look up and my great pair of knees is standing looking at me. And I'm trying to figure out where she got out. Well, I got her back in, and I came in and told my wife, I said, we better get going. Gotta quit talking.
It's just an unintended instrumental by Chip.
Sorry.
Don't apologize. It's fine.
No, it's good. It's good.
This is the things that people don't see. When
There you go.
Yeah, we're showing you show business firsthand today, guys. There's a lot more to it than it looks. But Chip's a fine.
Anyway, my dog, I walk out and put my guitar in the truck, and I look at my wife and I said, was that Neva, my dog? And she just ran in the woods. So I had to collect her and put her back in because we're leaving for North Carolina as soon as we leave here. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't let her go running free. So I apologize for being a few minutes late.
Okay.
All right, this is a Kenny Rogers song, and I learned it in about 5 minutes for Red because he's the man. On a warm summer's evening, on a train about the doorway, met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring at the windows, at the darkness. The boredom overtook us. He began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces, knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind me saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice." So I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. Then his life got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. Said, "If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done." Well, every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away, knowing what to keep. 'Cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser, and the best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.
All right, there's Chip Allman there, and with the Kenny Rogers classic, certainly one of the standards in his career, called That's the Gambling, a song all about the gambler. And boy, didn't Dolly take a big gamble going to Nashville.
Absolutely.
Everybody does when you go to Nashville.
And Dolly hit it big, as we all know, and that led to Dollywood and everything that she's done. And she now, like I said, Dolly just evolves. She just never fades away. She's into these books and helping kids all over our country. And it must be gratifying to you as a native Oak Hill to be, you say you're in, tell us a little bit about your service area.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in 23 counties. I have a lot of the Appalachia counties. That's why I was hired, because I speak Appalachia, basically. So, I go clear up to Harrison and Jefferson counties and as far over as Pike. We have local program partners in every county that pay for part of the book. So, what Dolly does is amazing, but there is a cost to Ohio. It costs $2.20 for every one of these books to be ordered, processed, mailed, which you cannot go to Amazon and buy a book for $2.20. Governor DeWine worked with the Ohio legislature, so every 2 years when they ratify the budget, they set aside several $1 million to pay for half of that, and then each local program partner is responsible for the other $1.10. So here in Jackson and Benton counties, that would be Easter Seals of Central and Southern Ohio. They raise the funds to pay for the books, and if you let me give you a few statistics real quickly. So in Jackson County, there are 1,396 children receiving books out of 1,965 that are eligible. That's according to the 2020 census, and that's 71%. So the state average is 60%. So Jackson and Benton County are both well above the average. Benton County coming in at 71% also. 460 children out of 646 are receiving the books. Here's the really amazing thing, though. In Benton County, since it started in 2020, there's been 17,301 books delivered to Benton County children. And in Jackson, 56,893 books have been delivered. That's pretty amazing.
Okay.
And all free to families.
Okay, we're going to bring in Ashton and Ashton Allman now, and we're going to set him up by asking our ex-principal this. What's it like to see a student have tremendous talent and ability as a principal that we're all just kind of gathering in today? We're happy, one happy family.
Right.
But what's it like to you to see a student with real talent and ability come up through the ranks and see him go out and do great things?
Well, I think it's a little harder for people in rural communities to really break through that, and have success. That's what we want for all of the children, and unfortunately it doesn't always happen, but it takes the school and the parents. It's a partnership. We couldn't do what we do without the parents behind the teachers and the principals, and everyone is important. The bus drivers who say good morning every morning. We all want that for our children here in Appalachia.
And we're going to bring in a young man that certainly fits that description. Ashton Allman. A lot of you Benton County football fans know him, basketball fans. And he is on his way, literally on his way to
Absolutely.
Campbell University in North Carolina. Huh?
Boys Creek.
Boys Creek, North Carolina. And there he is. I'm glad that picture is up because that was one of my talking points with Ashton. Ashton had an incredible experience in high school. Well, many, but this one in particular. And keep that picture up for just a moment, please, Hayden. He got to play in the historic gym at Knightstown, Indiana, against Oak Hill. And that gym is not regulation size.
Definitely not.
And Ashton, before we talk about football in Campbell, since that picture came up, tell us about your experience of playing in Knightstown.
Oh, it was amazing. It was, reliving history all over again. That's one of my dad's favorite basketball movies of all time. So getting to play where the Hoosiers played, it was definitely, it was like, it was just like a dream come true. I was raised watching that movie when I was little.
For both of us.
Always getting told, I'm going to make it, what Johnny says. And it was definitely history getting to, be a part of that experience. And it was amazing to have the, opportunity to play with my friends like Owen and those guys. It was really, really a blessing. I couldn't be more thankful for the opportunities to play on that.
But we're here to talk about football, and I covered Ashton in football and basketball. It was a real pleasure. He's not only a football player. Ashton is a very good student. He is a singer. He is an actor, and he that family has a lot of talent. I got a lot of talent and ability with me here today, and I've known these people for a long time, and so we're so glad to have them. But talk about how Campbell all unfolded, and talk about Coach Carper, what an influence he was on you.
Man, what a story I could say. So going in, I didn't play football, all through junior high and stuff. I played 7th grade year, but after that, I quit playing, and then COVID hit, and so I had that long break of no football or anything, and so my freshman year, I played at Southeastern and was a soccer player. I was a goalie, and I wouldn't ever think I'd be putting a helmet and shoulder pads on until after freshman year, me and my brother over the summer we're just talking and stuff, and he noticed I got, I was about 6'4" at the time, and he goes, you've been fouling out a lot of basketball games. You ever think about putting a helmet and shoulder pads on? I said, no, I haven't. He said, you come to a couple practices and see how it's going, and I got to meet TJ, and I got to meet the whole coaching staff of Benton County, and after that first practice that I got to witness, I fell in love with the sport, and it wasn't so much the physical aspect or even the look of it. It was just the the feeling or the brotherhood of it, then that really made me addicted to the game so much that I'm going to go play football at the next level. All because my brother said just check it out once, and then TJ took me under his wing, and I began went to camps every summer. Spent so much time in the weight room. We'll shout out is why I rep the Temple Fitness shirt. If it wasn't for people like Ralph who trained me, I wouldn't be the person the person I am today. But man, I just Campbell was I had a couple schools that offered me, but Campbell was the first ones who really reached out that we believe in you. So it was kind of a blessing from the up above. I was blessed with the opportunity that they believed in me, so I'm gonna believe in them, and that's why I chose Campbell. And it's a Christian conservative school at Abuse Creek, North Carolina. And, I can't be more excited because I'm leaving right after this to go there. I'm so excited.
And we understand that their stadium, I had a talk with your dad on your graduation night. And I guess the stadium's somewhat like Alumni Stadium here in Jackson.
Slightly, yeah. It definitely has its resemblances.
It does.
And AstroTurf, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
And what was let's talk about Coach Carper just a moment. Benton County, the former now head football coach, T.J. Carper, and you also played for then assistant coach, now head coach Marcus Games. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure those gentlemen, both of them, they're both fine men, and you said they had big influences on you, and you played on the line. So you work with Coach Games, I'm sure.
Yeah, I got to play on the skill position my sophomore and junior year, but senior year I decided to go with the line. And me and Coach Games spent a lot of time with each other talking about blocking and defensive line stuff. So Games really had a big influence on my mindset when it came to being on the field. And TJ also had to he was an extreme example of how I have my work ethic today. So each coach definitely has their influences in different parts of my work ethic and the player I am today.
And Chip, you've been an official a long time.
Yep, 10 years.
Both of those, Coach Carper and Coach Games, played Division I football.
Yep.
And how do you correlate that with what they know and what they was able to teach Ashton about being at the top level of football Division I?
So people don't realize how much difference there is between college and high school football. The speed, the drills, the knowledge, the things, the coaching that goes into college football opposed to, I see a lot of high schools when I referee. I do 20 games a year, and I see different teams all over the state, and there are legitimate teams that have coaches that never played football, and you can tell. And you have line coaches that were linemen in high school, but that's it. And that doesn't mean that they were coached by the proper coaching. But when you get to college, those are legit line coaches, legit quarterback coaches, and so it's amazing the complete difference. So having coaches like Marcus and TJ that played at the upper level makes a big difference when it comes to teaching the kids fundamentals and things like that.
We have the great football legacy of Benton County. MacArthur's so special on a Friday night, and I know you both have experienced that over the last 3 years. What about that Viking Nation? They really come out and support the kids.
Definitely, no doubt.
To be in the stands and to watch my boy out there, generally, you watch your boy most of the game, but people see the whole field and watch the running backs do their jobs and the quarterbacks do their jobs, and our defense was mean this year, and we held people to 0 points several times. And if it wasn't for the defense, our offense would have been, mediocre. But we just crushed people. And
great defense.
And other than the loss to Uniota at the very beginning of the year, we would have went 10-0. And unfortunately, he was out that game, and I like to think he would have made a difference, but it is what it is. But we had a great year. He learned so much from switching from tight end to offensive lineman. He was recruited as a tackle, but I believe they're going to move him to center, so he might be snapping the ball a little bit in Weiss Creek. So we're looking forward to what they got in store for him. We find out tomorrow, won't we?
Yeah, definitely.
One thing, Debbie, one thing Ashton is, and you as a principal, you guided children, and you still are, but especially when you was a principal, he also, as I mentioned, acts and sings. How, and a lot of parents, we all love sports, but how important is it to get kids to realize, like Ashton has, you can do more than one thing successfully? Is that a key you tried to build upon?
Oh, absolutely. I think you have to look at the whole child because, some children excel in other ways. My grandchildren, for example, my grandson has no interest in sports whatsoever, but he's found art. He got into an art class, and he is very good. And that just increases their self-esteem when you can find their niche, find what they're good at. And my granddaughter's in band, and she's an introvert, so that has helped her tremendously. But yeah, it's whatever interests the child, but also whatever they excel at. You have to search for that.
And I'm sure that Ashton's interest in the arts comes from his dad, I'm sure. And you got a lead. You was leading Phantom of the Opera, and tell us about the influence Miss Henderson's had on you.
Oh wow! So as a little kid, I came to Vinton County from since preschool all the way up to third grade, and I just remember music class was one of my favorite classes every day because Miss Henderson was in it. And she would she'd walk in the class and ask how everyone was, and we'd start this little warm up, like a little song thing, and she'd always go, "Ashton, sing this part," and I'd love it because it'd make me laugh and laugh and laugh. And it was Miss Henderson was like another mom to me in school. So every day she'd be playing the piano, and I'd be singing along with her and stuff. And I remember when I left, I just remember breaking down in tears. And when I came back to Vinton County, you would think LeBron James showed up. Coach Combs.
Yeah.
When I got back to Vinton County, Coach Combs was the athletic director at the time. He goes, you would think LeBron James came into the school the way Miss Henderson was acting. And I just remember walking into the choir room and seeing Miss Henderson, and she just gave me the biggest hug ever. She's like, "I missed you so much." And since then I love musicals. I have a big thing for music. So her inspiration to me was everything. She was absolutely the reason why I chose to be the leads.
One of their Christmas programs when he was in third grade. After the program, she said, "You got a minute?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I want to talk to you and your wife." And she told us, she said, "Do you realize your son's pitch perfect?" She said, "I've never heard a third grader sing pitch perfect." And I said, "Yeah, we hear him singing all the time in the back seat."
Yeah, at that time it was Iron Maiden. So
yeah, he was a headbanger back in his day.
Did you go ahead?
I was just going to say, but what an influence a good teacher can make.
Absolutely, definitely,
Yeah.
100%.
It's just right there, proof perfect, right there.
If you don't know, we're talking about Joy Henderson. She is the choir director at Benton County High, and she, I need to have her on the program because Joy is from Nashville and has Nashville connections. How does that help? You think that?
Oh, where she has so much knowledge of the whole music industry. So, she's got connections all the way from Nashville that come up during rehearsals sometimes, and they teach us things that you wouldn't think you'd know. You think you'd already know it, and then they walk up and they go, "Look at this," and you're like, "Wow!"
Every year, whatever she picks as their theater production, she kills it. It doesn't matter what it is. She can take a normal play and just smash it. And she knows how to pick the parts. She knows who belongs in what spot, and she just nails it every single time. She's amazing.
And we have like you were saying, a teacher just has so much influence, and you started the show by saying it's not only the teachers, and I think that it's the bus drivers, it's the custodians, it's everyone connected that works with children to make them be the best they can be. Not everyone. Matter of fact, I've done sports here 30 years, and there's been a handful of kids that's got Division I scholarships. I mean, and there's been some other ones where college has had a major influence in their life. Some kids that went to small schools, like Erica Hayes, won a national championship at Shawnee. Jeremy Ward played baseball at Rio Grande. We had a young man from Wellston, Brent Ewing. He played baseball at Rio Grande too, and he got to go to Europe. So going to small schools can really benefit your life, and so can singing and music. But it all comes down, and we're going to go back to Debbie real quick, about getting that education. I think education opens doors that almost nothing else can. And what did you tell parents when they come in and talk to you on principal nights and when you met with them? What do you tell them about kids' future?
Well, just as we were talking earlier, you try to get them to realize, to help their children to branch out. Don't expect just one avenue of them, because a lot of times it's the parent's dream and not the child. So trying to get them to understand, we're in this together. Parents are the first teachers. They're the first teachers before they ever come to kindergarten. And once they're there, we're there to help in whatever way we can, whether it be, if a child has dyslexia, and that's, try to get them to understand that's no one's fault. It's just, let's work together to try to help them learn, because, everyone learns differently.
And we're going to go on to several things, and I'm going to let Chip here get ready to pick a song of his choice here.
Yeah.
Whichever one he might have in mind, so he can start getting ready for that. But one thing that happened to you, and something that I'm awful proud to be part of Oak Hill's history, a lot of people in Oak Hill pulled together for a new building. And you were...
I was at Bloomfield Elementary at the time, yes.
And what did the new building mean to the Oak Hill kids?
Oh, it was a lot of different things. I mean, the new building itself was just amazing after being in some of those old buildings. But on the other side of that coin, a lot of people didn't want to get up their attachment to those buildings and those communities. So it was a difficult but a good change. It was good, but it just bringing all the kids together so they were afforded more of the same opportunities.
And of course, technology was part of that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a shame that we couldn't, with the way money is, and they do have limits on how many students can be in a building now and things like that, so they had to go to fewer buildings, but the kids overall did get a lot more technology.
They did, and the other thing is we were able to schedule more time for art and music and computer lab time and physical fitness and those kind of things, because we had more resources.
Okay, we're going to let Chip do some more picking for us, and then we're going to come back and talk some more football, education, and see what else unfolds. Chip, take it away, sir.
Since we're going old school, I thought I'd bring an old Alabama song out. Come out to again. Drinking was forbidden in my Christian country home. I learned to play the flat top on them good old gospel songs. Then I heard about the bar rooms just across the Georgia line, where a boy could make a living playing guitar late at night. Yeah, I held on to my music, let the ladies walk away, took my songs and dreams to Nashville, and I moved on to L.A., up to New York City, all across the USA. I've lost so much of me, but there's enough of me to say that my home home's in Alabama. No matter where I lay my head, my home's in Alabama. Southern born and southern bred. What keeps me going, I don't really know. Can't be the money, 'cause Lord knows I'm always broke. Could it be the satisfaction of being understood, when the people really love you and let you know when it's good? And I'll speak my southern English as natural as I please. I'm in the heart of Dixie, and Dixie's in the heart of me. And someday when I make it, and love will find a way, somewhere high on Lookout Mountain, I'll just smile with pride and say that my home's in Alabama. No matter where I lay my head, my home's in Alabama. Southern born and southern bred. Southern born and southern bred. Southern born and southern bred.
All right, that's Alabama and Chip Allman doing an Alabama song, and I think that started it all for Alabama. That was
Yeah, it did. Started it all for me back in the 80s, because that was the one we cruised up and down the old gravel roads to. I had every album they ever put out.
And Alabama, like Dolly, went on to become a great legacy. And you can hear songs like that again on 100.9 Hank FM on the Total Media app. And I did forget to mention, we're also being broadcast today on 105.3 and the Total Media Radio app. And so we're here being heard across the country. And friend Gene in Mississippi's listening, and Darlene in Kentucky. So we hope some of you out-of-state listeners, and hopefully that when you get down to North Carolina, you can tune in to Total Media Stream.
Definitely.
Anywhere you're at. I listened in Mount Airy, and the app just comes in great. Go to your Play Store, download it. And it takes about 2 seconds. And we're on 105.3 on it. But back to our conversation. Playing football, do you like football or basketball better?
Well, yeah, if you asked me that question 2 years ago, I'd tell you basketball all the way, but I'm proud to be a football player, through and through now. I've retired from basketball, so I'm 100% football, through and through. My blood, runs that pigskin is what I like to say sometimes. But basketball was such a big part of my life since I was a little kid. Growing up until high school. Well, I mean, in high school as well. Basketball was, it lived in me. I played AAU ball, went all around the United States playing ball. Almost went out of the country to play ball, but COVID, came and ruined everybody's plans. But, I couldn't be more thankful for the people that I've met playing ball, basketball. And, but football is, 100% where I'm at now. So, all thanks to, I'd like to say, like, all the coaching staff and, some of the teachers just really, supported, my dreams. They, football's the reason I am who I am today, and, couldn't love it more.
Now, Campbell, your dad told me you're going to take a Bible class.
I am. So I got to take, Intro to Christianity. I'm already a Christian, but, always enjoy learning more about my Lord and Savior. So this is, I'm really excited about that. And, I have to take those classes. It's going to be a new experience.
How tough is it today to be an athlete? You had good grades, and I know when you get ready for a show, I'm talking about Miss Henderson again, it's like 3 months, isn't it? Practice almost every night?
Yeah, you start in January, during basketball season. So
as soon as sectionals were over, they went into what do you call it?
Tech Week.
Tech Week.
And so during basketball season, you're going to this was funny, and if Coach Kite's listening to this, it'd be funny because we'd be in the middle of practice, and Coach would be looking at his watch, and he'd go, "All right, Allman, you got 5 minutes." So we'd run or whatever, do our drills, and next thing I know, I'd be running from the basketball court straight to the practice. In my people would say I look like Troy Bolton from High School Musical in my basketball uniform, practicing Phantom of the Opera, or Beauty and the Beast. It was my sophomore year. So Miss Henderson would look at me and just go, "You look goofy," but I mean I'd be in my full basketball uniform, even in my my basketball shoes still, and I'd be squeaking on that stage, and it was just an experience. It was so fun over those months that you're just grinding into that show, and you make so many memories doing it. It's absolutely amazing.
Now, your first big song in the show, was that with Brooklyn Burns?
The main song was me and is the Phantom of the Opera, the original, like the theme song.
Mm-hmm.
So doing that song right in front of all those especially during the show where you're walking through the crowd, it's definitely nerve-wracking, but once you go into that character, everything is blocked out, and I learned that from playing sports, and doing things like musical and stuff, stepping out of your comfort zone, you add even more of that, the drown them out factor, which is amazing.
Now, you and Brooklyn is an athlete, and she has a fine voice. Did you guys work well together?
Yeah. Me and her always been pretty good friends. She was one of those people when I came to Vinton County, she kind of showed me around the school. It was kind of like, welcome to Vinton County. She was one of the first people outside of my football teammates that were kind of like, welcome. And so, having that friendship factor was really helpful for the chemistry during the musicals and stuff to when you act out scenes, it just comes naturally, the emotions and stuff. So having a friend, with you doing that is really, really easy to act more natural.
Now, have you, if I remember correctly, have you graduated from Rio Grande or have a certificate from
No, but I definitely have a lot of credits at Rio Grande.
Okay.
All because of Senora. She got me into Rio, and then she kind of took off from there. But it's funny because about 90% of my Rio classes are all Spanish. So
and he's actually bilingual now through the state and federal. He has a certificate.
Yep, I have my seals of biliteracy in the United States and Ohio. So.
I knew he had something from Rio Grande, and did you see the sad news, she's leaving, Mrs. Smith?
I did not see that, but you know what? I want to say that I just wish her the best because she is probably one of the greatest teachers I've ever had in my whole life. I could say that about all my teachers, but I don't think anybody like Senora and Miss Henderson have the impact on me than anyone else because she, Senora's probably my. She was like another mom in the school. I was like, man, I got all these mother figures in the classroom. It's amazing. So I wish her the best.
And that's Gildy Smith. She is Puerto Rico, and she did a statewide Spanish program. She spoke in front of a statewide audience in Columbus, and we wish her the best. And I don't know where she's going. I was surprised to see that she's leaving. She's been at Benton County a long time, so we're going to miss her. But that brings me back to you as an administrator, a former administrator. What's it like to lose a really, really good teacher?
Oh, my. They're irreplaceable a lot of times. It's hard. It's just hard to find that one person. And that happens a lot of times in small schools, especially Oak Hill, because people want to move on to bigger and better things sometimes, or what they might think is better. We don't. But, it's hard. Of course, now you've got to remember, Red, I've been retired for 13 years. I'm kind of out of that. Right now. But I did want to, it's funny, this is such a good segue for me. Mm-hmm. I have to always promote this. Mm-hmm. It's just this week, bilingual books are now available in Ohio in the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Right. That's so funny that you were talking about that. We're a little competitive here in Ohio with this. We have more children enrolled than Tennessee. We have 404,000 children enrolled in the state of Ohio.
That's amazing.
We're at 60%, so we still have to get that other 40% enrolled. Plus, all the counties are competitive. Everyone always wants to know, okay, Lawrence County has 82% of their children enrolled. What are they doing? I mean, every month when the map comes out, they're all searching to see who's in the number one position, who's done the most work, they think. But, yeah, so we're very proud here in Ohio that in less than 5 years, we've surpassed Tennessee, who's been at this 29 years.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and parents out there, we'll give you a plug. Any parent, any young person that's maybe going to have a child or has recently had one, please get in touch with. You can get in touch with Total Media. We can refer you to her. You contact her directly. Do you have a Facebook page or something for the Imaginary Library?
We do. We have one. Just go to Facebook and type in Dolly Parton's Imagination Library of Ohio, and our website is a little simpler. It's just ohioimaginationlibrary.org, and you can sign up straight from the website.
Well, so much education, music, it just all bounds together and having a good life for our kids, and that's what we're all working for, whether it's through new buildings, computers, technology, creative arts, sports. We've covered all of that today, and I think it's just all bundles together well to make us who we are. We're getting ready to close the show, and Ashton's going to show his talent, so you grab your guitar there and tune up.
I was wondering if we were going to get to hear from him.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, I swear. I don't know if they can, but so every one of these signatures here, during the musical, I got, everybody's like, oh, sign my book, and I was just like, you know what? I want something that lasts a little bit longer, and plus I lose books very easily. So I told all the guys, all the senior guys that I've built friendships with over the years, like Elijah Maris. What a great guy. I met those guys, and I said, you know what? Sign my guitar. And I got Miss Henderson on here too, and Corey Harper, the sound and lights guy, who works magic. And I was like, yes, I'm my guitar, man. And I hope when I get to college, I hope everyone asks me, why you got signatures on your guitar? Are they famous people? Well, they're famous to me. So,
and before he starts, I wanted to preface real quick. We have a tradition here, building a tradition of closing the show in a tradition of old AM radio DJs. They ended every hour with a gospel song. And that's still done on WSM, Jeff Hoag's show. And I always liked that tradition. And some other DJs did that on Wednesday nights on WSM. And so I always liked that tradition. And Ashton's going to close us out and take us home with a good gospel number.
All right, this is This Side of Heaven. It's from Brad Stewart. A lot of people don't know who Brad is. He's a new artist coming out of Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, he's from Michigan. I forget exactly what part. Unfortunately, he likes the Wolverines, but that's all right.
We don't hold that against him.
So I met him at the Renovate Life's church camp. He's a great guy. So I was like, I'm going to do one of his songs because it was, I loved his message and his story. So, this is This Side of Heaven. So. The looks we get these days get shifty. The world just thinks we lost our mind. Living life out of a suitcase, chasing things the world won't find. Life is hard, but it's rewarding. Front row tickets to the show, and I don't know what heaven holds for me there, but honey, I can't wait to go. So I'ma just keep on singing these songs, keep on praying till the night becomes dawn, keep on grinding till I done gone home, Keep on riding till there ain't no road, 'cause we'll never know this side of heaven. And we'll never know this side of heaven, on this side of heaven, no. So leave the ships behind in cinders, 'cause we won't need them where we go. We'll pray for hearts as good as others, till I walk that street of gold. So I'ma just keep on singing these songs, keep on praying till the night becomes dawn, keep on grinding till I done gone home, keep on riding till there ain't no road, and I'ma just keep on fighting this fight, keep on learning till my wrongs come right, keep on walking by faith and not sight, keep on stoking till I'm burning bright, 'cause we'll never know this side of heaven. We'll never know this side of heaven, on this side of heaven.
Oh, wow. How about that?
Thank you.
Very
Right. All right. That's going to close it. I want to thank our guests for coming. Chip Allman, Ashton Allman,
Thank you.
and Debby Canter. We certainly have enjoyed all your insights today, your talent, your information. And we also had a little history mixed in, and we got to see Dolly at 21 years old. And Dolly at, 78 now? 78 years old. She just never stops. She is
8 years young.
She's certainly. And before we go, the Oak Hill Festival of Flags had a Dolly tribute artist. Karen, I don't remember her last name. She looks just like Dolly.
Really?
Unbelievable.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I was talking to Jennifer Hughes at the Festival of Flags, and she said this woman, Karen Donaldson, and she looks, when she gets Dolly eyes, as they call it, it's incredible. Looks like her, sounds like her. So
Not enough of that out there, Red. They need to do some artists to do. I seen a Beatles tribute band, and they were amazing, and there just ain't enough of that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Dolly certainly has a great legacy, and remember, you can help your children. She's still helping children. This lady's still helping children. And Ashton, as far as you go, thank you for the great memories. I hope you have a lot of pictures we took of you over the years. And Chip, I've been taking your picture since I came here 30 years ago.
You have. You've been taking my picture for a long time, Red, and I appreciate it.
And I knew Chip. He's one of the first people I met when I came here almost 30. Well, you might as well say 30 years ago in August. And Chip was playing a lot of events in Benton County. Chip in the bottom of the barrel band. So.
Yep. Been in the music since I was 21.
Wow. So we're still going strong. Thanks for everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show today. Join us next week. I'm not sure who our guest is going to be. I'm going to take a little jaunt to Mississippi, and but we will come up with some fine guests, and we want to thank this trio of guests. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
Roll humps.
Roll humps.